You know, I've had a number of pool companies over the years, and I kind of have presuming they're bid properly, okay, so that they know their cost and they know how to bid a margin. A lot of times the margin that they bid does not show up on their profit and loss statement. In other words, they might bid with a 35% margin, and when they look at their books, they have a 10% margin. And over the years, I've kind of categorized that in the reason for that into two areas. One is mistakes, and the other is concessions. Mistakes being that you left the pool untarped and it rained and it collapsed the hole, things like that, or things like broken pipe that get the decking poured over it and they didn't know it was poking and you got to tear the decking out. Concessions are such things as the customer has the idea that this is a turnkey deal because that's what you or somebody told them. Well, turnkey in the contractor's definition does not include moving the sewer line and the gas line, which could cost $10,000. But to the consumer, it's no, you said turnkey. So there's a $10,000 mistake, perhaps, depending on if you concede that point or not. How has, maybe you started out really well, but how has how have your processes evolved so that you talk about that kind of thing in advance? How do you manage customer expectations? That's a simple way to put it.
Yeah, that's a great question. So this will sound wrong, but it is correct for us. And that is that even though it is a process, we don't have a sales process. All of our initial inquiries, they really just start out as an information exchange. And our whole process from initial contact to a signed contract really just takes an educational track where we go over and review exactly how a project goes. Our contract is very clear on what is and is not included. And I think for the most part, 99.9% of everything is covered in the contract. So it's really just kind of leading the customer through the contract, educate about the process, and if that resonates with them and they like the way that we operate, then it becomes our work.
Did your contract start out really well fleshed out, or have you been adding to it? That's one thing I've noticed.
There have been a couple of it.
As experience has shown you. Yeah.
There have been a couple of additions, but not very much.
Scott, what got you into processes so much, into becoming such a process-driven person? Where did that start?
I have had the opportunity, to work with some very professional people who I felt, believed in what I could offer. I mean, sometimes you get hired to do one job, and maybe by lack of anyone else, you ever hear like, hey, if you can do this, step forward, but instead everyone else steps back. Well, sometimes I wasn't smart enough to step back with everyone else, and but that afforded me the opportunity just to be given a chance, and I took to it. Maybe it's genetic. I don't know. My father's the same way. There's a start and an end to everything in my mind.
Yeah, for sure.